What's up everybody, thank you so much for taking your time and hanging out here now. Just a day before, a Pakistani airline PK303 crashed near Karachi International Airport. Before crashing, the pilot cried, "Mayday, Mayday, Mayday." It's an emergency. Mayday is a distress call in aviation. But in clinical medicine, when we get a report of hypophosphatemia, we may not get any distress call. The recognition of the hypophosphatemia and its seriousness has to be weighed by the intensivist himself. Most of the cells in the body need phosphate for its normal physiological function. Phosphate is required for every living cells in the body. Phosphate is needed for the cells for membrane function. It is a part of the genetic material, and most importantly it is also a part of the adenosine triphosphate, which is the currency of energy in the cells. Every living cell would require energy for some physiological purposes, and therefore the phosphate is an essential element needed by every cell. Phosphate is also very abundant in food material, and as such in a mixed diet up to 1 to 2 gram of phosphate is provided every day to an adult person. Phosphate due to dietary deficiency is very uncommon. Phosphate level in the blood is normally 2.5 to 4.5 milligram per deciliter in adults, whereas in children the phosphate level is just twice, up to 7 milligram per deciliter. Phosphate is also liable for diurnal variation, and it is known that afternoon level of phosphate is maximum, but we do not know what is the relevance of this variation. And phosphate is also said to have a seasonal variation. Again, the significance or any correlation of the seasonal variation is also unknown. Phosphate is very easily provided by the diet, and usually the intestine gets more than the daily requirement of the phosphate, so all of the phosphate which is provided in the food is not absorbed in the intestine. Normally up to 1/2 to 2/3 of the phosphate only is absorbed through the intestine, and the intestinal absorption of phosphate is regulated. We know that the phosphate absorption in the intestine is dependent or regulated by vitamin D and parathyroid hormones, and the same is true when we consider the excretion of phosphate at the kidneys. The excretion of phosphate in the kidneys is also regulated by various interacting factors. Most prominently it is by the parathyroid hormone, vitamin D, sex hormones, and the catecholamines in the body. So there is another buffer state of phosphate. Phosphate is present in the body, 85% of which is present in the bones, and only 0.1% of the phosphate which is present in the body is present in the blood. Therefore it is nearly impossible to know the exact amount of phosphate present in the body by testing it in the blood. Level of phosphate may be an indication for hypophosphatemia, but this does not indicate what is the total amount of phosphate present in the body. Bone provides phosphate for short period of time when there is loss of phosphate in the blood, and that turnover provides a buffer of phosphate, but if it is lost through the kidneys in excess or through other routes in excess, or if it is not absorbed from the intestine due to malabsorption, or if it is poorly available in the diet, the bone will not be able to provide phosphates for a longer period of time, and this will lead to hypophosphatemia. In a nutshell, we consider that phosphate level is essential for physiological functions, and in critical illness there are several factors due to which the phosphate level can go down, and we know that at least 1% of the deaths in ICU can be directly attributed to hypophosphatemia. So we cannot ignore this anion, although when we consider estimating the routine electrolytes, phosphate is not estimated. We have to separately order for this test, and we will consider what are the circumstances when the phosphate level should be estimated specifically, and if phosphate level is deficient in particularly in the critical patients in the ICU, how to supplement and rebuild the phosphate levels in the body. I hope if you watch this session till the end, you will definitely have some information which will be useful for you. Now we consider the pathophysiology of phosphorus hemostasis, which is mainly regulated by the intestine and the proximal tubules in the kidneys. There can be three modes of phosphate deficiency. Poor dietary intake. Phosphate is very plentiful in all kinds of diets. Rich sources are bean, meat, milk, etc. Dietary deficiency is very uncommon, but other causes can lead to phosphorus deficiency. Malabsorption, diarrhea, nasogastric tube drainage, use of antacids for long period of time. Vitamin D deficiency can contribute. Normally vitamin D enhances the absorption of phosphate from intestine and reabsorption from the kidneys. Number 2, increased urinary loss is the most common cause of hypophosphatemia. Other causes are volume expansion. Hyperparathyroidism can lead to phosphate loss in the urine. Vitamin D deficiency leads to poor reabsorption of phosphate in the kidneys, leading to more loss. Dialysis may also lead to uncontrolled loss. Diuretics and osmotic diuresis in diabetes may lead to excess loss. Estrogen therapy downregulate sodium potassium co-transporter, leading to loss in the urine. Transplanted kidneys are also cause of hypophosphatemia. Shift of phosphate from extracellular to intracellular. Treatment of diabetes ketoacidosis, refeeding, short-term increase in the cellular demand, hungry bone syndrome, respiratory alkalosis, inhaled bronchodilators lead to fall in serum phosphate. Treatment by ionotropes lead to fall in phosphate level. Some tumors such as lymphomas consume phosphate in excess. What are the common causes of hypophosphatemia? The common causes are alcoholism, tumors, malabsorption, malnutrition, vitamin D deficiency, prolonged mechanical ventilation, prolonged hospitalization, diabetic ketoacidosis. What are the presentation of hypophosphatemia? There are no specific sign and symptom in mild to moderate loss. Many cases are asymptomatic or having no specific symptoms. Most symptoms appear below a phosphate level of 1 milligram per deciliter, and the symptoms which appear at this level are weakness and delirium. But this should not mean that phosphate deficiency above 1 milligram per deciliter should be ignored. Hypophosphatemia leads to loss of energy due to depletion of ATP and lower oxygen delivery to tissues. Weakness of muscle is common manifestation. Respiratory insufficiency, diaphragmatic weakness and prolonged mechanical ventilation may be seen. Impaired cardiac function may lead to hypotension. Arrhythmias are possible. Neurologically impaired consciousness with confusion, seizures or coma may be seen. Hemolytic anemia is possible due to RBC unable to maintain cell function. Immunity is reduced due to white cell dysfunction. How do we diagnose? The general condition, dietary status, malabsorption, symptoms of bowel disturbances, intestinal malabsorption can lead to vitamin D deficiency or primary intestinal disorders. So whenever there is any suspicion of hypophosphatemia, then we test for other electrolytes such as sodium, potassium, magnesium, calcium, thyroid function test, parathyroid hormone, vitamin D and ABG to look for alkalosis. How do we work up? When the reports are available, then we check for the calcium level. If the calcium level is raised with phosphate level is low, it suggests hyperparathyroidism. If the calcium level is low and phosphate level is also low, it suggests vitamin D deficiency. Potassium level low and phosphate level low, look for diabetic ketoacidosis, and if the magnesium level is low, it suggests nutrition deficiency. Phosphate wasting through the kidneys. How do we diagnose? The phosphate wasting through the kidneys can be diagnosed based on the fractional excretion of phosphate. Normally we calculate the fractional excretion of phosphate, and if the fractional excretion of phosphate is more than 15% in the presence of hypophosphatemia, then this is the disorder of proximal tubule or disorder of kidneys as such. For example, Fanconi syndrome is possible tubular disorder leading to renal acidosis, glycosuria, hypouricemia, hypophosphatemia, etc. How do we treat? Phosphate can be replaced by three methods. One is the dietary method, like if the person is in the community and able to take good diet and the malabsorption is not the issue, then beans, milk, meat, etc., which are the diets rich in phosphate, can be suggested. And if the diet rich in phosphate is taken and there is no malabsorption, it is expected that the phosphate deficiency will be corrected. On other oral supplements, we have drug supplements also, which we will discuss, and intravenous supplements are also there. The big problem in India is that very limited number of phosphate supplements are available. It is very important to know the phosphate preparations available in your pharmacy. Phosphate supplements dose depends on the cause and severity and duration of the phosphate deficiency. What are the steps of correction? Step number 1 is to check which other electrolytes are depleted. For example, sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium. We know that phosphate is an anion and it will be available when in the combination with other forms such as sodium phosphate or potassium phosphate. So if we know the other cation which is deficient in the same patient, then we can choose the correct supplementation so that both the anion and cation deficiency can be corrected together. Step number 2 is to check for the renal function. The importance of renal function is that if there is any renal dysfunction, the corrections should not be complete, it should be partial only, and half of the correction is generally given so that the overcorrection may not lead to hyperphosphatemia. And the number 3 important consideration is the what is the phosphate level. Phosphate level less than 1 milligram per deciliter needs intravenous supplements, because this is a serious life-threatening condition and we cannot wait for oral supplements to work, and therefore intravenous supplementation is generally recommended for phosphate level less than 1 milligram per deciliter. But if the phosphate level is more than 1 milligram per deciliter, then oral supplements can be sufficient if we monitor it on the daily basis. When the phosphate level is less than 1 milligram per deciliter, then the correction up to level of 1.5 milligram per deciliter by intravenous supplementation is achieved, and then the correction is done orally. So this is a rule of thumb that mild to moderate hypophosphatemia should be corrected orally, and severe hypophosphatemia should be corrected intravenously. Step number 4, oral phosphate supplementation is safe and the dose up to 1 gram to 2 gram per day for 7 to 10 days can replenish the stores. What are the drugs available? What are the supplements available? In India, we have supplements available in limited brand names, and for calcium phosphate, there is one brand which is having maximum elemental phosphorus, and this is Syrup Calcium Max P, which contains these compositions, and tablet Calcium Max P contains these compositions. Sodium phosphate is not available in India in intravenous formulation, but sodium phosphate is available only in the form of laxative and enema. These phosphates which are available in enema and laxative format can be given orally as well. There is no harm in using it. We do not have any oral preparation of sodium phosphate. The dose of phosphate given orally should be only 1 to 2 gram per day, not more than that. You can see here what are the preparations which are available with us, and these are the proctoclysis enema, sodium phosphate enema, sodium phosphate Gudge enema, sodium phosphate enema Sun AJ, and these are laxative purgatives. This can be given in large quantity if it can cause diarrhea also. But if we give elemental phosphorus dose of 1 to 2 gram per day, it is unlikely to produce diarrhea, and the preparation can be accepted and tolerated very well. Potassium phosphate is available only in one brand and only in one mode of preparation. Potassium phosphate is available by the name of PotPhos, and this is intravenous preparation. We can use this intravenous preparation both orally as well as intravenously. The preparation is marketed for intravenous supplementation, but if you want to give potassium phosphate for oral supplementation, the same ampule can be used, and we have to check the contents. The composition is PotPhos contains phosphorus 93 milligram, potassium 170 milligram per ml. This is a 15 ml ampule. Therefore, the 15 ml contains 1395 milligram of phosphate and 2550 milligram of potassium. With a dose of 1 to 2 gram of phosphate per day, we can give the entire ampule in OD format, once a day format. Please note that there is no chance of overcorrection of phosphate by oral route, since the intestinal absorption is regulated, but if given in large quantity, it can cause osmotic diarrhea. A phosphate dose of 1 to 2 gram is very well tolerated. Available preparation has 3 millimole of phosphate and 4.4 millicalorie of potassium. Parenteral correction should be given by 0.3 to 1 ml per hour, and the entire ampule of PotPhos 15 ml should not go in less than 15 hours, that is 1 ml per hour, preferably in 24 hours. Step number 5 is to give vitamin D supplements. Which vitamin D is the best? Vitamin D3 is more effective at improving vitamin D status. We have vitamin D, that is ergocalciferol. These are plant source vitamins. These need to be converted by liver into D225 hydroxy vitamin D2 and then into the kidneys by 125 hydroxy vitamin D3. But in conditions when bioavailability is needed immediately and there is kidney failure and thus issues with the metabolism, we expect that vitamin D3 will improve the vitamin D status of the host faster than compared to the other form of vitamin D, that is D2. Calciferol is the main circulating vitamin D, and its blood levels reflect your body's stores of the nutrients, animal source and synthesized by the skin. Most studies show that vitamin D3 is more effective than D2 at raising blood levels. Now, A caution, a warning, beware of this tablet. Tablet Phostat. This is calcium acetate, is used to treat reverse condition, that is hyperphosphatemia. Calcium acetate sequesters the phosphate in the intestine by forming insoluble phosphates that are excreted fecally, thus reducing the serum phosphate concentration and secondary hyperparathyroidism. This is used in the hypophosphatemia to lower the phosphate level. I hope this information was useful for you. How do you correct hypophosphatemia in your setup? If you have any other opinion or any other ways of treating this condition, please do comment and improve our knowledge. For similar other videos, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. One